Hey there, it's David H. Lawrence the 17th, and I've got a little tiny thing that I want to bring to your attention. May not feel like a big deal, but it can be. It can be very intrusive to a listener's enjoyment of what you come up with, both auditions and narration, audiobook narration in particular. As human beings, we have these little tiny peccadilloes, these little kind of quirks that we have with the way we communicate orally, the way we communicate with language, the way we communicate with mouth noises. And one of them can be pretty intrusive to someone's ability to understand what we're doing and can be distracting if we let it get out of hand. And, you don't notice it in everyday speech, but you do notice it when you're listening to what is supposed to be finished product, like an audition or an audiobook. And what I'm talking about is the dreaded lipsmack of satisfaction. Okay? So here's what I mean by that. I'm explaining something to you, I'm explaining something to you, I'm explaining something to you, and I've concluded. Now, did you hear that little noise I made just before the word now? That little now. So we declare our success with the explanation or the passage or that piece of what we do by going, okay, now we're done. Let's move on to something else. It can also happen when we need to do a pickup from a mistake that we've made. We make the mistake. Oh, we got to pick it up. We do the pickup. That's perfect. Let's move on. And so you get that little lip smack, and you got to watch it because we don't notice it. We don't hear it when we're doing it, because it's just part of our normal everyday stuff. And if you're doing something that's colloquial, it can actually be a plus. Like if you're doing a commercial and you're like, yeah, so I went to the store and the prices were like so great. It was fantastic. So what I did, right, it makes sense. It makes sense in a colloquial kind of common, easygoing conversation kind of thing to do. But when you're talking about an audition for an audiobook or an audiobook itself, you want to be careful not to do that moment of, I did it, so let's move on. That lip smack that signifies that that's the case. And you can hear it. It's not something that is kind of off in the distance. It's like pretty pronounced. Hey, everything going great? Great. And then off you go. So be careful about that. If that's something that you do, work on it. Don't let that be something that stays in your repertoire, especially when you are auditioning for more formal stuff, wondering if that's something that you've noticed. Any other little tics that you've noticed, like or so, right? Those are more vocalization bridges. Those are more like filler words. But these little tiny things that we do, we make all kinds of weird noises. But the lip smack is one that is pretty recognizable and pretty easy to control. So just be careful about that. Leave me a comment. Is this something that you've noticed? Is this something you've had to work on? I'd love to know. I do know that most of the time when I bring it up to my clients, when I say, hey, listen back to that, notice that little lip smack there, don't do that. They don't even know they're doing it. So, it's something to consider. I hope that helps. I do these videos, at least this year, I'm doing these videos every day. As a challenge to do 365 pieces of content in a row. If you'd like to be on my list to be notified when these new videos come out and when I publish other things like blog posts and tips and tricks and strategies and tactics and promotional material, sign up for my list. There's a box below that says sign up for the list. Please do that. I'd love to have you. And if you'd like to see the latest video episode that I've done, go ahead and click on that frame there and YouTube will play it for you. I'm David H. Lawrence the 17th, and I thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.